Well, hello and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn, on the Peace and Love boat, and joined by my very good friend. We can say that after a few years, can't we?
We absolutely can, and I'm so delighted to be here. I had no idea what I was coming to, but anyway, I am delighted to be here, Andrew. I usually see you in GB News.
You did,
studio.
and more platforms than Paddington. You now did Jeremy Vine, and we do the other bits and pieces that we spoke about as well. People will know you from Ladette to Lady, that wonderful series where you'll take people maybe who've had a tough start in life.
From the gutter.
From the gutter, that's one way of putting it. And you will turn them into ladies.
Presentable young women, yeah. It was something that ITV decided to do a programme. It took 6 weeks to film. It was up in the north. And they transformed a finishing school into a set so that we could take a dozen really badly behaved young women and over 6 weeks transform them into, as I used to say, I'll take you to places you wouldn't even get in the back door,
Right.
but I'll be taking you in the front door, and then at the end of every week we expel someone. And so that, I then wrote my second book, which was really concentrating on social behaviour and etiquette, and including party planning, which was my first book. And somehow or other they elevated me to UK's foremost social behaviour and etiquette expert.
That's a lovely title, isn't it? UK's foremost expert.
Social behaviour and etiquette expert.
Wonderful stuff.
And it's interesting because in today's world where people are in such a rush and everything is sort of closing the ears and looking into a screen, how people forget to communicate, young people especially, they forget the art of communication and to be able to sort of how to send their energy over to people. I was saying earlier, you had a guest who I'm going to have a word with later, who literally came at me with both arms, you know, to say hello. I've never met him before, and that's invading my aura. And you know, you all have an energy aura around you, and that aura is specific to you or me. And when you meet somebody for the first time, it can be instant. And you see somebody and you go zap, zap, zap. Or it can take days, or it can take weeks, but it can never happen.
Yes.
And one of my clients, Finito Education, when they take students, you know, and they've got their degrees or whatever, and they on the first rung of the working ladder, they need to know how to walk in a room positively, how to look at the panel of sort of people interviewing them, how to communicate, because as they walk in that room, if you don't change your energy from, you know, bad hair day to welcome and positive energy, they're going to, don't like them. And sometimes they don't even know why they make that decision, but they go, oh, and they listen and they tick. And it's terribly important in today's world that young people growing up understand the art of communication.
Yes.
Terribly important.
But what's really sad, I always say this, that the smarter our devices become, the more stupid we become.
Well, we couldn't live
Is
without
it true?
them. Somebody just asked me the other day, you know, we now live in a world with AI and communication with mobile phones, computers. And take it away. Yes, our world comes to a standstill because we've become so used to it. What you have to have is a happy medium.
Right.
You have to still talk to people, whether it's on a telephone or wherever. You've got to communicate personally. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
You know? And I get some people, including the young, my daughter, Tallulah, they don't answer the phone. So I have to send a WhatsApp and then they do ring me back. I need to communicate. I need to hear their voice. If it's, you know, if we're going online, I need to see the expression in their eyes. My daughter, in fact, is flying back from a Porto today.
Yes.
As you know, she's bringing out her 7th album.
Well, you are the best PR for your daughter, which I love. It's always good.
I'm behind the scenes. But with her, I was in New York a few months ago and I got woken up in the middle of the night about 10 times. I got, your daughter's on Desert Island Disc. I said, oh, she is? And then I rang Tallulah. Tallulah said, Mummy, it's gone mad. I don't even know who this person is, but they not only love my album and a particular song, which I think was called You Are Love.
You Are Love.
Yeah,
There we go.
and You Are Love, that's right. And she said, but she's taken that song to the island. She's never met me. 2 years ago, she heard that music. She plays it every day.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, it's amazing. So dear Tallulah, who, now does energy work and music from the heart in front of thousands of people. And she was the first person actually to do that sort of sound baths. But this new album, which I gather is coming out in October.
You've got a flyer?
I've got a flyer. Here
There it is.
I've got a flyer.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
This one. There you are. That's London.
There we are.
That's
Tallulah Rendell. You can get that nice and close up on that. Fantastic. And you've got lots of gigs from Ashburton. Starts on the 9th of October all the way to the 25th of October. We'll put the details in the description below. London St Pancras Old Church, a lovely venue.
I know, and that's what she normally does. Living from the heart.
Oh, there you go. And let's have a look. There's one of these as well, Living from the Heart.
And
So, yeah.
as you can hear, I'm very proud of my daughter, Tallulah Rendell. I was married to her father, John Rendell,
Yes.
for 10 years. And even then, we still remained great friends. When we got divorced, we had one divorce lawyer.
Oh, well done. Between you?
Yours? Yeah.
I bet he was happy.
Yeah, he was. What's yours is yours, what's mine's mine.
Yes.
And he moved next door. But John,
Well, he bought the house next door from the office.
no, he was actually in an apartment next door.
Yes.
I got the house. And it was fascinating because at that time I was on my 6th ex-fiancé, which was
6th ex-fiancé.
emerald and diamonds.
Right.
Oh, with a bit of an overlap of sapphire diamonds and ruby diamonds.
Beautiful.
And I met John through Roddy Llewellyn.
Oh, there you go.
And I was launching in Battersea, a dining
Just
club,
over the road.
and I wanted Roddy to do the garden.
Lovely.
And so they turned up. He said, I'm going to introduce you to my partner. And they turned up. I'm quite particular what I wear. So I had Jean Muir hot pants
Very
in
nice.
velvet in sort of French blue and with a matching waistcoat trimmed in brown leather, matching berry and Biba boots, all in this wonderful blue. And my second property was at the King's Road. Upturned this unbelievably dirty blue van. Roddy jumps out and said, this is my partner, John Rendell. And John was there in thigh-length leather boots,
Right.
which I actually still have.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I got those in his will. And then and a flowery sort of shirt,
Yes.
waistcoat with all the mirrors on. And I just couldn't believe it. And I thought, if anybody sees me, I had a high profile at that
Yes,
time.
yes.
I'd come back from Portugal, where I just launched the first discotheque club there. And literally, I had to sit between these two, go also to Kensington Palace, where he introduced me to Princess Margaret, telling me she's dying to meet you. She likes low curtsies. And he jumped up the steps, went behind her, and I'm wearing boots,
Yes.
hot pants, and I'm trying to do a curtsy, and he's low. And I'm looking at him, and she says, Roddy, you naughty boy. That was when I first met.
A little bit of mischief.
It was
I
hysterical.
love that sort of stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, and Princess Margaret herself. I mean, she was a real character.
She was a character. And anyway, I mean, it's a complicated story, which I'm trying to write at the moment. It's all there, the life and the memoirs. And but it was extraordinary with Roddy, because we opened this club across
Yes.
Battersea, Old Battersea Square, with my now brother-in-law, Pat Doherty.
Okay, of
As in
course.
Pat Doherty
Yes, of course.
built Titanic Belfast, with whom I was with on Wednesday in his box. Princess Anne came for tea.
She's good. I like Princess
she's
Anne. She's wonderful, very
amazing.
down to earth.
I had my first big win, which was brilliant. I had enough money for the entire week.
Oh, well done.
Yes, and it's a couple of tips. But anyway, I must let you get a word in.
Oh no, the words are good. No, I've got my own. You're okay. You can keep
Because
that.
otherwise I'll bang on
No,
forever.
what I love about it, and you talked
Yeah.
about the number of engagements that you have. You also told me, which you might want to talk about. You don't want to about your daughter
Yeah.
and her own relationship and your views on that.
Oh yes, well you see, in today's world, Tallulah, she was engaged. She had a wonderful fiance who sadly got ill, and so that was that. Then after COVID, she was so busy doing her sound bars, all the festivals, and she does it in front of hundreds and hundreds of people, bringing out yet another album. She brings the albums out in hardcover books, and the album's tucked in a download. And Tallulah then, about 3 months ago, said, and she's down in the south coast near Devon.
Yes, beautiful.
Near Hockney.
Yes.
And so she said, oh, we need to come up to London, Mummy, because I'm going to celebrate the fact that her latest new serious boyfriend has announced that he would like them to live together. And I said, oh, really? Is that what you do nowadays? How about third finger left hand? You know, I'm used to having 6 ex-fiancés, but I only married
There you
John.
go.
I never got engaged to. He just married me, as I was such a bad risk. So it's a different world. These kids, yes, they think living together. The problem with living together is you have a few rows and you break up. If you're actually engaged, if you're engaged to somebody with a ring there, it shows the world that you are attached to another person.
Right.
And it's like a rehearsal for when you are married. And it's important in the world we live in today. People need to respect the institution of marriage because it does work. You know, even when you're married and you have a row, you have to have quite a few rows to think, okay, this isn't going to work, and you'll get a divorce. But just living together, in my experience, so all the young I have under my wings at the moment, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, interesting, because dating has changed massively
Totally, yeah.
now, because people are these informal things, whether they're swiping left or swiping
That's
right,
right.
or whatever. Talk to me about the etiquette of dating, how that's changed, and what advice you would give.
Yes, and who picks up the bill?
Who picks up the bill? All that sort of stuff.
It's difficult. And, you know, it's a question of if you fall in love with somebody.
Yes.
And, you know, and that can happen. It happened to me.
Love does happen.
Once.
Just once.
Yes, it happened once.
Which of the 6 engaged persons did you love?
With John, it
Yes.
was within that he decided he was going to marry me, even though there were all these other engagement rings. But with that particular person who sadly crashed his plane and died, it was the thunderbolt. Now, when you have the thunderbolt, it is across a crowded room. It happens, and you cannot believe it. And it happens rarely with people. I'm fortunate to have felt that once.
Right.
And yes, one's always looking and thinking, will it happen again? It doesn't. You know, sometimes people say, well, you know, I can't meet anybody. And I say, well, you know, go and decide what kind of person you would like to share your life with. And then whatever they're doing, it might be banking, it might be riding horses, it could be anything. What you need to do is get a job in that business.
Okay.
And that I'm advising young people today who can't get a job and want to get into, say, radio, television. Go and even make the tea or the coffee.
Yes.
It's a bit like being in the theatre. If you're there at the right time as an understudy and the star doesn't turn up, you get the chance.
Absolutely.
And if you're good enough, you go to the top. It's exactly the same in the work business. If you decide, okay, I want to get into interior design, if I want to get into fashion, I want to get into jewelry, go and just say, give me a chance,
Right.
give me a job, and be there, be loyal, be honest, and be there when an occasion, and they do come up, and then you get, they'll use you. It's so important.
Oh,
in today's
absolutely
world.
important. So just talk to me then
Yeah.
about, if you like, the different chapters of dating now. So, for
Oh,
example,
the different-
so if you work on the basis, when should people, after a successful first date, when should they make the call about setting up a second one?
How you feel. And sometimes, because it's out of balance in today's world, one time, the young man would pick up the bill in the same way as he would open a door, the same way he would pull out your chair, the same way that he would help you on with your coat. I still believe in the world where men are men and women are women. You may be earning more, you may be more intelligent, but a man needs to feel masculine. If he is masculine, he needs to feel masculine and be able to, be respected as a man, if it is a man. And so it's a question of deciding, does your energy work?
Right.
And that grows. Sometimes, I mean, you can be with somebody. I remember, I won't say who it was, but a certain person in my family, and you know, it never worked. One man after another, and then finally, you know, the energy builds. It's like a lot of men in business marry their secretaries,
Right.
because you have a chance to actually to get to know them, and it is that energy which starts to merge, and they fall in love, even though they say, no, it will never happen, I don't even fancy them. It does.
Yes.
It does. You have to decide what is the right place, and then make certain you're there at the right time.
But it's not surprising, is it? Because as you say, you've got more contact there.
Yes, yeah.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
social etiquette, if you like, dictates that people don't tend to mingle. They don't tend to bump into people. They tend to meet them at work.
Yes, precisely. But it is this business of, you know, at a cost, do you swipe right, or at a
Right.
cost do you keep communicating with your ears closed and your eyes, you know, looking at a screen? You have to get to know people.
Right.
You have to get to know how to communicate with somebody. If you can't communicate with somebody, you can't have a relationship.
And you're so right. And looking, the tragic thing, I look at restaurants now and go to some of the finest in the world. Everybody's buried in their phones, aren't they? They're not communicating.
And I know, or photographing their food.
Yes. Yes. Food porn, they call it, don't they?
You're
I know.
supposed to be eating your food,
Yes.
which would be a much better idea.
So in terms of that, I mean, you mentioned
Yeah.
a number of things. In terms
Yeah.
of picking up the bill,
Yeah.
a lot of people, women lib, will say, oh, that's outrageous, how
no,
dare you?
you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. If you feel that they can't afford it.
Yes.
And in today's world, it's so easy to find out everything about anyone. But if you feel they can't, then, you know, stick to one course or stick to something. Let them feel that their self-esteem is being sort of
So is
punished.
it I always say it's about communication.
It's-
If you turn
everything's
around,
about
isn't that right?
communication.
And the same as you talked about the aura
Yeah.
and how somebody
Yeah.
interrupted your aura when you came on the boat.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yes.
A lot of it's about consent and how nowadays you have to verbally ask consent, if you like, and talking at the very beginning about that sort of side.
Yes.
What's the best way to approach that?
Well, if it's with an introduction, your energy will tell you.
Right.
And their energy, if they think they have the right to do that, they're not listening to their own energy, because energy goes two ways.
Yes.
If you ever have a chance to be photographed with a Korean camera,
Right.
and I did many, many years ago, I think it was the millennium, and I was at Shiva Som in Thailand.
Lovely.
And they brought it, and I just happened to be there with three of England's amazing men, Mark Burley, Evelyn de Rothschild, two others.
Andrew Eborn, amazing man. Oh, no.
And we'd all snuck out to go and have the Hua Hin to have champagne.
Yes.
And so we had a bit of a hangover. And when we went in, they said, the Grand Master is coming tomorrow with his camera crew.
Yes.
And you're going to have your energy photographed. I'd never heard of it.
Right.
Anyway, I was feeling a bit under the weather because they're cleaning you out, but then we were drinking bottles of champagne. Anyway, we all sat there, Mark Burley, Evelyn de Rothschild, Andrew de Candle, Joseph Hello, and we're called in. And you hold two prongs. And you hold the two prongs, and then somehow or other this energy goes through, and they take a photograph. If there was ever a moment in my life when I floated, he came out and in front of all these mega men,
Yes.
and he said, Liz Brewer. I said, yes, you have a most extraordinary aura. And I'm thinking, what if it's the champagne?
I'm
Because
probably a little glow, the alcoholic glow.
It
Is
was
that what-
gold.
I was, glorious.
it's sitting in my drawing room.
Oh, wonderful.
And, yeah, and I looked, I did think, what if it's the alcoholic haze? However, at that time, Mark Burley, as you know, who's literally founded Annabelle's,
Yes,
the
absolutely.
proper Annabelle's, he had the beginnings of the illness which finally killed him. And his aura was black
Oh, was it?
and red.
Good heavens.
And it was terrible. And yeah, it was quite extraordinary. And then, so I learned then, he said, having announced, you have a most extraordinary aura, he said, come with me. And I followed him, and we sat down, everybody else waiting, and he started to tell me things. Now, this is a grand master. He was probably in his 90s, fairly elderly, and extraordinary man with his entourage. And he said, you have the ability and the gift of persuasion.
Right.
Don't always use it to your own advantage. And I remember thinking to myself, might be right.
Oh, no, but I love it. I love it.
Might be right. And so now I'm so aware of that. But I always believe, I'm not one of these people, I don't take on a client if I don't think I can do anything.
Yes.
And I don't tell somebody that they look wonderful if I don't think they do.
Oh, no, that's very good.
I find it's always easier in life to be sort of graciously honest,
Yes.
rather than giving somebody a fourth sort of impression.
Oh, I agree. I have so many people
Yes.
in the theatrical world, the performance
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
who will ask you,
Yeah.
what did you think of the performance? And the phrase I will often say is, I've never seen you better,
Yes.
which I think is good.
But-
It works
but
well.
it is.
It doesn't disappoint them.
But it
It's
is
just
something
gotta be
I
good.
find very difficult not to. And I know you're going to have a word with Lady Henrietta.
Yes, we're
Rous
looking forward
here.
to speaking to Lady
And
Henrietta.
She knows that if anything, sometimes it's not brutal, but it's the only way for somebody to realise that, okay, I need to change that, I need to do that, and she's right. But if everybody says, "Oh no, you're wonderful,"
No,
oh
it's-
no, it doesn't work.
I
You
agree,
don't
and
learn.
in the boardroom
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
people who surround themselves with yes men and yes women,
Yeah.
they're never going to carry on
No.
improving, and it's
That's
all that
true.
sort of stuff. You mentioned your clients several times.
Yes.
Tell me what services you offer and how people can get in touch to find out
Okay,
more.
Let me see. Okay, first luggage.
Oh, here we are. Look at you. And this is who I am
But
today.
This is a
Here we
great
are.
one.
Oh, I
Now
like this.
That's the Lord Montague of Bewley. Now,
Oh, I like that.
his
May I have a
dad-
look? Here we are.
Yeah, you can
I do a little close up for the camera. There's a picture of a rather fine car. What's the story of the car behind?
That is the Sunbeam 1000, which in 1927
Yes.
at Daytona Beach did 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
And there's an engine in the front and an engine in the back.
Yes.
It's just been restored at the National Motor Museum.
There you
in
go. A
Bewley.
beautiful place. I
So-
used to go there a lot. Yeah.
So this is the son of the late Edward Montague,
Wonderful.
Ralph Montague of Bewley. And they've just opened a new wonderful gallery there called Driven. But guess what?
Yes.
Every year before, we have the London to Brighton
Yes.
car rally.
I know.
And you probably know, so Michael Kaduri owns all the peninsulas. Michael is a great collector of cars.
Right.
And I sit next to him at these dinners, which is on the eve of the London to Brighton car rally. And about 10 mega guys fly in with their cars, stay at the peninsula, and they do that run. The last November the 1st, we're sitting there, and I'm sort of saying, National Motor Museum, there are a lot of people who haven't been there who don't realise how important it is worldwide.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think I said something like, you have 21 Phantom Rolls Royces in the Peninsula, Hong Kong. And if you go online, you'll see them lined
Yes.
up. And guess what? The result is, 2 weeks ago, Cathay Pacific kindly flew one over.
Fantastic.
It's now going to be unveiled on the 30th of June
Okay.
at the National Motor Museum.
Oh, lovely.
I'll be down there. I've actually asked Shirley Bassey to come.
Oh, is she going to sing? She's glorious, Shirley
no,
Bassey.
She used to stay at Palace House,
Right.
which the young Rafe has now restored 7 suites there,
Oh,
which
beautiful.
are incredible. No, you can stay in the circus with you'll be in your
Can I tell him you said I could stay in the circus?
where they've got a big top over the bed.
Beautiful.
And in the shower room, the bathroom, you
Yes.
can sit on a carousel, pony. Every suite has been bespoke
Right.
and helped by the students in the Southampton University.
I love it.
of interior design. Yeah, it's incredible what they're doing. So I'll be down there at the end of the
So
month.
he's one of your clients. That gives you an example
So
of what you would do.
That's, well, Michael Cadore is not my client, he's my
Right.
friend.
Right. Okay.
And now he's only got 20 Phantom Rolls Royces.
Ah, you see.
But with first luggage.
Oh yeah, here we go. I've got another card. It's like a tsunami. It's like a rainforest of cards.
I
This
have
one.
got so many with that.
First luggage. Here we go.
It
I'm
means-
not holding up the details behind, but there's first luggage. You can have a look at that. More
means
designs on the back. Yes.
I don't travel with luggage because I do a lot of travelling.
You do?
So
Okay.
my luggage is collected before. Say I'm going to America, so
Yes.
it's collected before.
That's nice.
Or say I'm going down to Monte Carlo, fortunate enough to be staying on a yacht.
Yes.
They'll collect my luggage, they'll deliver it to the yacht. So I walk on the plane and walk off. And in America, because it's timing is everything, and I'll say, right, I'm coming in and I'm going straight from the airport to a party. I need my luggage unpacked in my room
Oh,
by
glorious.
by the time I arrive.
So that's first luggage. Is somebody else takes care of your luggage? Do they do the
Yes.
packing and unpacking?
No, I do the, no, if I'm staying in a hotel, I ring them and tell
Yes.
them to unpack.
Okay.
But otherwise, it just means you cut out, because if you're traveling with more than a wheelie bag,
Yes.
you actually need time is everything. Time is the biggest luxury in our world at the moment. We've got a sailing.
I know, I love it.
We've
No,
got-
the visual pictures behind.
that. We've
I
got-
booked all of them. These are all extras
Wonderful.
on central casting. Thank you for that. It looks good. Bruce, it's all CGI. It's not real. It's got to be good.
So that first luggage, but Finito Education is was started by Ronell Lehman, and they're
Right.
the ones that I guide into the first leg of the working ladder. They do their CVs, how to walk in a room, and all that energy.
So
stuff.
give me some of the top tips then, because a lot of people, this is going to be new to a lot of people
But they're
about
all-
etiquette. Talk to me from the very beginning then. When you're walking into a room, take a social situation.
Okay, well, first of all,
Talk me through it.
when I was young, I was taught when you walk into a room,
Yes.
you open the door.
Right.
You're facing everybody.
Yes.
You walk in and you take the handle, you close it behind you. The trick is always face. So even when you're leaving a room and you're leaving the room,
Yes.
and you arrive, you open the door, you're still facing the audience,
Okay.
and then you close the door. It's little things like that. It's things like looking people in the eye.
Yes, people don't do that anymore, do they?
They don't. If it wasn't so bright, I'd take these off so I
Yes.
can look.
No,
in
well,
the eye.
I've seen your eyes. Beautiful blue eyes, I can say. It's got to be
Yeah.
good.
So it's little things, and it's gestures. It's considering others. It's when you're paying in a store and you've got all your food and you're at the till. Acknowledge the person
That's
at the
nice.
till. They're doing a job. Just say hello. The same with a driver if you're on a bus or whatever. That person's doing a job. They're a human being.
It's so important, Liz, isn't it? And I think
Acknowledge them.
I always try to
Yeah.
treat everybody like a celebrity.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, I always say, people say you're on the same boat, you're not on the same boat, on different boats on the same river, aren't we?
It's nothing to do with treating them as a celebrity. It's treating them as a fellow
As a
human
human being.
And that's what it's about. Tallulah's new album actually is called Human.
There you go. How good is that? And see, when we mentioned it, a whole flotilla of things is coming behind us. It's got to be good. We can
The
do that.
activity on the Thames.
Isn't it
is
wonderful? We love the
amazing.
activity on the
It's
Thames.
incredible.
Now, you've also been to a number of social events as well. You've just been to Ascot. How was that?
3 days, wonderful. Tuesday, Wednesday, I only do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And every day, the first day I was Sir John Madejski's guest.
Very nice.
In his box. And sadly, one particular, because it's seated for 10, and one guest didn't turn up. Another guest had a
Right.
flat tire. But one guest, and so John says, Liz, ring, Penelope, ring her. So I rang her. I said, where are you? I'm at Victoria. What are you doing? You're supposed to be having lunch. And those boxes cost something like 50,000.
Oh, I know.
And the lunch. And she said, no, I'm coming Thursday. No, you're coming today. So Georgie Campbell, Lady Colin
Yes,
Campbell,
Lady
just
Colin
had to
Campbell,
ring.
absolutely.
Liz, where are you? I said, well, as a matter of fact, I'm in box number. Come and join us because somebody has. So she came and joined
Oh,
us.
lovely.
And that was wonderful. And so, dear Georgie, so she always has her picnic party on it's the Thursday. I think it
Okay,
was.
very good.
And it just so happens every day I've got lunch parties going on. And one, of course, was wonderful. It was had she married my cousin Martin, she would have been Penny Lee. She would have been.
Oh,
related.
lovely.
And the other Dallas Dake Relace is very much in the racing world. and a member of the Jockey Club, where I was for her 60th birthday a few months ago. And Lady Henrietta Rous's great uncle, Admiral Rous, saved the Jockey Club financially.
Go.
And it's the most incredible place. So they were having a wonderful picnic. So I took with me Henrietta. So
we should bring Henrietta on. Will you come? A big round of applause for Lady Henrietta.
Yeah, come on. Because with Henrietta, we're going to arrange is for her to do a talk at the Jockey Club.
Oh, lovely.
At Newmarket.
Okay.
Which is a fabulous place. And introduce her. Because all over the Jockey Club are pictures of her great uncle, Admiral Rous. Come here.
Wonderful. Lady Henrietta.
And dear Henrietta.
Well, welcome to the Andrew Eborn Show. Tell me how you met.
I met Henrietta. I think it was ITV or BBC. ITV were doing a documentary on me. Was it BBC or?
I can't remember.
Anyway, they were doing a documentary, and as you know, Ivana Trump was my client for 38 years till the day she died. I was doing her first, second, third engagement party. So this was the third husband, who she met through me. He was a client of mine, and I was doing it at Zion House.
Right.
And it was all being given by the then owner. And I was very naughty. I did 2 invitations. One was 6 o'clock till 7:30.
Right.
And the other was 8 till whatever. And so the press were coming. They could photograph Ivana Trump. They could see her fiancé. She'd do a little speech. Then they'd go. And then I'd have the guests who I'd invited. This one, I didn't know till I saw it on the television. And she's sitting there, well, it's so sad in today's world. People take over these stately homes of England. And they do their wedding. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking to myself, this is somebody I need to get to know.
Wonderful.
And she was writing for, was it the
Evening Standard?
Okay, oh lovely.
I know, so we looked at the invitations.
Okay, can we give you the mic? No,
we looked at the invitations. When we see a very tempting one, we go. You see.
Oh, very good.
And it looked a very interesting invitation.
So how do you decide about tempting one? Yes.
Oh, it's often whether it's that lovely thing on the print.
Right, okay.
That's good. Zion House is beautiful. And Ivana Trump. And somebody wrote for the Standard who's rather distinguished. I went, who? I said, I'm not going to go to Ivana's engagement to Mr. Macaroni. I don't want to go. I don't know him. So I said, I'm going, definitely. And I did find out there was an
somehow
after
she
party.
knew there were 2 invitations.
Oh, is that right?
And I
also knew that it was a party afterwards. And
Right.
I said to the head of news, do you think I could stay on? He said, go for it, go for it.
And
Be brave.
And that was, we took over the library, so it was a table to seat 200 people.
I wasn't there, but I was in the other room with the band.
Right, oh lovely.
Shouting away.
And I remember I'd invited quite a few of my clients at the time, including Richard Branson.
And there you go.
And so he'd had a falling out with, or she'd had a falling out with him. Something had happened until she'd always flown with him, and then suddenly he said, what can I do? I said, I'll sit you next to her at the dinner, which I did, and from that day on, of course, she went back and always flew with Richard Branson. But this naughty one, so I got to know her, and we became great friends.
In front.
Yeah.
I love it.
The 50th? Yeah.
Oh,
No,
fantastic.
sweetheart, it
60th,
wasn't.
Michael
It
Whitelocks.
was the 70s. It was the 70s.
No, this was the 90s. 90s.
Okay, the 90s.
90s.
In the 90s, what I loved, and even bring it right up to date, is the story about how you both ended up on the boat, because we spoke yesterday. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I was driving down to Royal Ascot, and it was this was this Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah, Wednesday.
This was Wednesday, and I'm driving down, and I said to Henrietta, do you want to come or not? Have you got a badge? So she got herself together, got a badge, and I'm in number 1 car park. And there were about 3 or 4 people I was going to visit, and including Dallas Day-Crelacy and Penny Lee. And I wanted her specifically to meet Dallas Day-Crelacy. So, because I know she needs to go to the Jockey Club and give a talk. And so we drove in and we joined them, and then Sir Ben Slade rings. where are you? Where are you? I need to do a deal. Where are you, Liz? I said, well, actually, if you walk from your car park space 2 spaces sort of this way and down, you can come and join the lunch, which he did. So we had a great day.
Yeah, lovely.
She was wearing the most outrageous dress, which was trailing to the ground, covered in white feathers, and an amazing hat. And I took you to Pat Doherty's box,
Did indeed. Yeah.
and he always has Princess Anne comes for tea. So we were there, and then Ben said, "You didn't tell me royalty was coming to the box." I said, "I did. I kept telling you that he was coming."
And then I saw Princess Anne in the box. And I said, "Should I curtsy for you, Mum?" And she said, she was really good.
Oh, she is wonderful, Princess Anne.
she was
It's
great.
a lot of people's favourite royal because she's so down to earth and doesn't normally go for those formalities. I understand that Zara Phillips, now Zara Tyndall, was refused access. That some of the security guards didn't know who she was, and she didn't have the relevant passes on. But like her mother, she just laughed it off and went and got the right passes. It does make a difference. Now, so we called each other, I think, at that stage.
Yes, we called each other, and you said, well, are you here on Saturday? I said, yeah, I'm not going to Ascot on Saturday. I'd actually given my car park space to somebody else. So you said, well, would you like to come on a boat and do an interview? And I said, I'd be delighted. This one, here's the conversation. I said, well, and she said, what was that? I said, Andrew Eborn. Well, she said, well, I'm going to be on a boat. But you get 10 o'clock. It just happened to be a coincidence.
Glorious. It's those glorious coincidences which we love.
Yeah, I was amazed. And I thought, well, typical Lizzie, she's everywhere, you know.
It's wonderful stuff.
Always,
Now, you yourself, you have a fantastic career also as a character actor.
Oh, well, fairly recently a friend of mine said I always wanted to act, but I didn't. And so she said, Henry, there's a method acting class in Soho, a Puerto Rican who is American, New Yorker. He's awfully good, you must come along. And so I went, and I spent about a year or two there, once a week in the evenings, being told how to do method acting. I don't know how good I am at my age at method acting. So a lot of younger people there, one was getting a lot of work as an SA. All you have to do is get your pictures taken and become a member of all these different casting agents. So I had a lovely Mexican cameraman who was fond of me, and he helped me a lot with it. Congratulations.
And having such an extraordinary life, what made you decide to get into acting at this later stage in your life?
Because I'd always slightly wanted to, and nobody'd really encouraged me. Always put, no, get on and do something normal and be useful in the world and la la la. And so I'd never really been encouraged, but this friend really was the person I'm rather grateful to.
And it's a wonderful inspiration because a lot of people throughout their life, they say, oh, I wish I did that. And the secret is it's never too late, is it?
Never too late. And there are jobs for older people, you see. I mean, some get lots of work. I get interesting work. I've been in some great films, but with, like Wicked and Armando Iannucci's film.
So you were in Wicked?
Yes, I was in Wicked, and
it was
terrific fun. I was a wedding guest, and the clothes were fabulous. No expense spared.
Did you get to keep them?
Never.
Oh, there are people who go on sets and they walk off with the clothes.
That was one of the outfits that you came. It was at the Odyssey Festival Orchestra at the Queen Elizabeth Hall.
That was from another private filmmaker.
Okay.
Who's friend is a dressmaker, and the dress is amazing. He lives in, I think, a certain amount of poverty in Leytonstone. He's brilliant, but he doesn't grumble or anything. He just says, well, that dress is worth £3,000. I won't sell it for any less. But he's lent it to me.
Right. Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Questions for both of you then, because I want you to be regulars on this wonderful boat. It's a lovely atmosphere. It's very informal. We talk about everything, even things we're not supposed to talk about, which will still end up in the programme. I love it. Start with you, Lady Henry, what has been your proudest moment?
Oh my goodness. I think actually at art school, this is pathetic to say, I went at art school, one of the fathers of a student who's a painter or in the art world said, the only paintings I liked in your year were Henrietta Rous's because they were her own paintings. not influenced by anybody else. So
Were they the floral ones?
before floral, they were just coloured. I knew a painter, a wonderful painter called Craigie Aitchison,
Right.
who is an RA and ME and so on. And I spent a lot of time with him. I don't know whether I put colour in or what, but it was just the way I did it. So that made me feel incredibly proud, because I always thought, well, I'm not natural.
And painter, we've just lost David Hockney.
Oh, God, yes.
Do you have particular memories with David
Well,
Hockney?
I knew Ozzy Clark extremely well. I met him at a big smart wedding in the early 80s through Craigie Aitchison, and I used to hire Edwardian dresses. And Craigie said, actually, Ozzy Clark would like to meet you. You see, he likes your dress. Go and talk to him. So I went, introduced, and he was sitting wearing a sort of gamekeeper suit. And I said, I knew he was quite famous. I'm not quite sure exactly what he did, but I knew. I said, well, how are you, Ozzy? And he went, oh no, absolutely appalling. I went bankrupt last week, and I'm going to see my shrink the next. And I said, Ozzy, that is a terrible situation to be in. I live in a really beautiful place in Devon, Clovelly, and if you feel a bit low, it's really good for people's spirits. So please give me your number, and my number I'll give him, and come and stay for a weekend. And that was it. But 3 months later, somebody rang me up, Ozzy, said, Henry, I would like to come this weekend, and I'll bring my dog in a cage. So he brought his Cavalier King Charles in a little cage, and that's how I got to know Ozzy.
But not only that, she actually wrote the book on Ozzy Clark.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I had to sort of look after him. He needed a lot of help because he'd gone bankrupt.
Yes.
And so I felt I had a duty to look after Ozzy, and he was a wonderful person.
Right.
And it was very rewarding in a way, and he made me beautiful dresses. And he wanted to do a book with me in his lifetime, and they turned it down. I think I wasn't famous enough as a writer or something, but he trusted
Well, I've got a copy of the book.
And you've got a copy of the book, but in the end, David Hockney, after Ozzy was horribly murdered by his boyfriend, his lover, David Hockney actually said to Celia, Ozzy really wanted his diaries published,
Right.
Etiquette diaries, and he persuaded her, and they asked me to edit.
Oh, lovely!
The
There you
diaries,
go.
yeah.
So that's available now. If people want to find it, how can they get hold of a copy?
You have to go to Abe Books, so or get
Okay,
hold of
one of those books. That
old copy.
we will dig out and
You
we'll
might.
put the little
There
link at the
aren't
bottom.
that many, because
Yes.
I don't think the family were very happy about the book.
Oh,
Because,
well, what were they not
because
happy about?
They were so hurt by Ozzy not being home. Ozzy's prevalent to young men.
Right.
And so that upset the marriage and upset the boys and Celia.
It's so sad, and you often find that. You find that in the film world as well.
Yeah.
They're doing these wonderful documentaries about
Yeah.
famous musicians.
Yes.
And it takes an eternity with those who are alive about, well, don't tell that tale, we don't want that one
No.
told, we've got to keep
No.
that one secret.
Yes.
So it's quite tricky, isn't
He
it?
had 2 sons, you see,
Yeah.
and so they decided, sadly, that at the moment, no more writing about Ozzy. People have approached me to write books on him, and
Right.
apparently Celia and the boys simply are totally against
Yeah.
him.
So your proudest moment has been your artwork. What about you, Liz? What's been your proudest moment?
My daughter, Tallulah.
Fantastic.
Tallulah.
Does she have an album out?
It's coming out in October.
Yes. It's very good.
Yeah, I think the proudest moment was, and I didn't want a son.
You didn't want a son? Why not?
I had 2 brothers. That
Oh,
was
okay.
enough. But I wanted a daughter. I think if I'd got a boy, it would have gone back.
That's it.
And so Tallulah, and it had never stopped being amazed.
Right.
When I see her performing, I sort of pinch myself. It's a bit like with Shirley Bassey.
Yes.
That's my friend up there, and with Tallulah, that's my daughter up there, and it's extraordinary feeling. So. Yeah, I think that's probably. Otherwise, I have a magical life. I'm totally spoiled. I realise that, but I've learnt in life, never overlook the person that you meet, because 10 years down the line, you never know where they're going to be.
Oh, absolutely. That's
if I go back in my life, who I met when I met Cilla Black when I met. You know,
Cilla Black was one. I did a warm up for one of her shows.
Did you?
At LWT when I used to live over the road in the Temple, because I'm in Paris,
Yeah.
so that's what we had. So I had a scholarship flat, which you never appreciate as a kid. So it was rent free for a year with a parking space. I had no car, it didn't matter. But I used to go and do warm ups for TV shows, including Blind Date, and
Oh,
that's how I met
God,
Cilla on
yes.
that sort of basis. It's good.
I remember when I first, she came to stay in Albufeira, which was the little fishing village where I started this very first
Yes.
discotheque club in Portugal. And I always remember she was there with Bobby.
Yes,
She
indeed.
hadn't
She
married
loved
him.
Bobby.
She did, and I'm in touch with their son now,
Oh, of course.
all the time. And
He's doing well. He's okay.
yeah, absolutely. He's on social media, and I always remember we were at there wasn't even a hotel in Albufeira, but somebody had a swimming pool where there, and we're dangling our legs over, and whoever the boyfriend I was with at the time was swimming, and Bobby, and she said, "Oh, Bobby, look at Lizzie's toes." And I had these lumps on my toes.
Oh,
because,
no.
well, I always wanted to be a ballet dancer.
Yes.
So I was always up on points, you see. So I totally destroyed my toes. They're better now. They're much better.
Good.
But there were so many. Cliff Richards who
Yes.
taught me to dance. You know, the Paul McCartney. I mean, it was.
What was the Paul McCartney story?
Well, I mean, with Paul, all these stories are non-stop. You took it for granted. If you go back to the 60s, 70s and 80s, these people, we moved around
Yeah.
with them. And, you know, we also saw them become success.
Yes.
And whereas nowadays it's all to do with social media, but I think that's changing. I think nowadays your presence, and heaven help us if they start creating AI of people.
Well, they already have.
Have they got one of you?
Well, I am AI. AE is AI.
You're not really. You're not really here.
I'm not really
are
here
you?
at all. But I'm virtually having a great time,
Yeah,
so it's got
which
to be
is
good.
terribly important.
It is
but
terribly
it
important.
is, and life is to be lived.
Yes.
You get up in the morning. I mean, I get up very early. I still, ever since I ran away to Portugal, I've never had more than about 4 hours sleep a night.
There you go.
And people say, "Oh, it's terrible. You know, your age. You don't have more than 4 hours sleep a night." Well, I literally struggle. I mean, my brain is going, and I actually managed to answer a lot of my emails.
Oh, well
in the
done.
middle of the night, and follow the social media. But I think you have sleep when it's necessary.
And just
with
on the
people like
etiquette
me.
of that,
Yes.
because people say, when should you answer an email or when should you answer
Yeah.
a text? If it's the middle of the night, is that okay? Because the phone, people's phones are going bing, 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 bing.
I
bing.
do, and then
You do?
and then somebody says,
That's not etiquette. The etiquette
who
queen.
are-
I thought you said
no,
never.
And the person who said, "What are you doing up in the
And
middle
there you
of the
go.
night?" And it's often people in America.
Yes.
But you don't expect them to have their phones on in the middle of the night.
Right.
And I managed to clear out everything. I
So
need
that's
to
okay,
every day.
etiquette-wise. Okay.
Yeah, it's not when you do it; it's how you do it.
Okay.
What you say. You know, how you address
What time in the
people.
morning do you call this, is what you say? It's good.
Well, it was quite funny, whoever it was. I
Yes.
can't remember, but it was somebody quite important.
Right.
And it was, well, you know, so I said, "Well, what are you doing up at this hour of
There
the
you
morning?"
go. There
so,
you go.
Yeah.
You keep that up.
So tit for tat.
Yes.
But, you know, behaviour, social behaviour is all about making another person feel comfortable.
Yes.
Not causing offence.
Yes.
And actually, at the end of the day, often showing respect and makes life easier.
Yes, I don't mind offence. I think offence encourages debate sometimes, because you have to. They always say the secret of comedy. George Carlin said the secret of comedy is knowing where the line is and going beyond it, because that happens. Offence creates a dialogue,
Yeah.
and a dialogue creates resolution. So that's okay, isn't it?
Yes, well, I know that's why they have me on things like Jeremy Vine, etc.
Yes.
Or even GB News, is because they want something which is controversial.
P.T. Barnum, wasn't it, said if you want to draw a crowd, start a fight.
Oh, did he? I
He
didn't know
did.
that. God, I didn't know that. But so life is to be lived. Get up in the morning and feel good about getting up
Absolutely.
in the morning. And, you know, at the end of the day, go to bed and feel you've actually accomplished something
I love
that day.
So we've spoken about proudest moments. What has been your biggest regret, Lady Henrietta? Biggest regret?
Perhaps not writing or painting more, something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
So you would like to have started earlier?
Yes.
Okay, but you're still a long time ahead. You carry on creating.
Also doing more dancing, I regret, because I love dancing.
Okay.
And one of the wonderful players, he's the drummer on Friday night at Chelsea Arts Club. And I
Love that club.
To his fabulous, and his whole band are fabulous. Well, the other guy's band, his saxophonist. And he said, you interpret the music with your body as better than anybody I've ever met. And he's danced with professional dancers.
Oh,
so he
lovely.
said to me, are you not professional? I said, no, it's just the way I do it. I feel it. And so that's one of my happiest recent moments too.
Yesterday
evening.
You were dancing yesterday evening?
No, I wasn't, but before I did dance to
Right.
my band at the Chelsea Arts.
Well, we'll get you
I
dancing
haven't for
here
a while.
to Wills and the Willing
I
later
haven't
on.
got
It should be good.
my favourite drummer.
What's the name of your favourite drummer?
I can't even remember now because I actually had a long gap when I didn't go in. Very
Right.
much. Yeah.
So your regret is really not dancing more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Liz?
My favourite moment.
No, your biggest regret.
Oh, my biggest regret. My biggest regret is actually not realising what my parents, my mother especially, felt when I ran away. And I remember, because it was 10 years in Portugal, in Albufeira, and I remember coming back finally after about 4 years. And I thought, I'll turn up on her birthday, 6th of September. So I got back, turned up, they were living at Wentworth. I walked in and my mother burst into tears. And I was astounded. I had no idea how much I had hurt my mother. And you never know that until you're a mother yourself.
Right.
And you have to, like, Tallulah's always touring or busy. But she rings me and, hello mummy, I'll be back, like tonight she'll be back, and she's very loving, and I think that probably you can't regret it because you've done it, but I do remember thinking if I hadn't done it I wouldn't be here today.
But also the reason it's important to talk about is people learn lessons from this. The reason I
Absolutely.
love talking to people who share their experiences,
Yes. Yeah.
not just the good stuff, but the failures as well, is it helps so many other people on that sort of basis. Finally then, and both of you, thank you so much for coming on. Finally then, in many years' time, how would you like to be remembered? Lady Henrietta, let me start with you.
Oh my goodness! Well, I hope in something where I've been helpful to few people in my life, even indirectly. By chance, never on purpose, I've introduced about 10 couples. You know, they met through me, but
Oh, that's lovely. Are they
that's
still
a good-
together?
Oh yes.
Oh, well done.
Happily married, yeah.
To each other?
To each other.
Good.
And so that's an indirect thing I've done.
Oh, no, that's lovely.
I never ever thought this person would suit that person.
Do they ever name their offspring after you? Is there a Henrietta out there?
No.
No, that's outrageous.
think so.
Rectify that immediately. Start breeding tonight.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah.
good. Oh, but that's a lovely memory.
Yeah,
So
I love
you'd
it.
like to be remembered on that? You brought people
Well,
together.
It could be, yes.
Okay. And what's the thing people most misunderstand?
They say,
Yes.
sometimes people get you wrong. You never know what
Yes.
they say behind your back.
Oh no, well that's what I'm saying.
And I do hear, oh, X says, she says, I know her very well. She's not that person, you know. So you never know what people say.
What did he say?
She didn't tell me what. She just said,
I do think it's so important, and
Yeah.
it's the other thing that I like to ask people. People get things wrong about people in the public eye. Liz and I have spoken about Elon Musk's dad, and I know him very well, just come back from his 80th birthday party in Dubai. And she was saying, oh, I've heard all these terrible things about it. And I said, well, I've unpacked each of those stories with him to give him a chance to respond.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important that you hear in people's own voices.
Yeah.
What do people get wrong about you?
I don't think there are people that particularly know me, or it could be just like people like to say things that are a little bit not complimentary. Even working for the person I worked for on the Standard, you know, I got him 3 scoops and lots of, you know, I put myself out. He had a lot of charm, and I do things that, you know.
I have to say,
right.
I have never heard anybody say anything detrimental about
Excellent.
Henry. I really haven't.
And on the phone now, no, we have nobody who will say anything detrimental. It's going to be good. It's a real pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Liz, you get the final word. How would you like to be remembered, and what do people get wrong about you?
What do they get wrong about me? I'm not quite sure because nobody ever tells me. As long as I keep getting invited,
Yes.
as long as people still listen to me, I suppose I'm grateful that I am still around, busy at my age. You know, a lot of my friends died within the last 10 years, and which is sad. And you realize in life, you've got to continue to always make friends, young friends especially, because your older friends, and you're not taught how to accept that, but suddenly you find these voids, like something you might have done, you know, every year with a certain person, that no longer exists. Right. And you have to make certain your life is full enough to just keep going. And so I'd like to be remembered having I think I made a bit of a difference with those 6 years with Ladette to Lady. They still, somehow or other, still remember it. It's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary.
Yeah. People say it's my favourite programme.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
I was a small part. Occasionally is.
I brought Henrietta in
as a judge. And you enjoyed that as well?
I absolutely loved it. I adore talking to the girls behind scenes too.
Oh, fantastic. And it is, and when the cameras are off, were they very different? Did they manage to maintain those ladylike features?
Well, yeah, but I mean also they had awful stories in the background that you could sympathise with. And I think the sad thing about television and instant attention, and there's no follow-up. So some of those girls who'd learned how to do things beautifully went back to Australia, but there was nobody there. They had this very difficult period, childhood, etc. And I'm afraid they probably would sink back into bad habits rather than go on to become
not necessarily, because they did actually make a follow-up program.
Right.
Where Are They Now?
Yes.
And they did follow the girls. The very naughty one who ran away during filming. She actually started going around all the universities saying, well, look at me now. Also, there was the one girl who I was accused of calling a slut. And I remember, because I arranged a lot of the bachelors, and one evening we were doing the finale, and I had the polo team there, and the galloping major was there, Peter Hunter, and he arrived in all his sweaty polo gear.
Yes.
And there was this young girl, Claire, and she was so bad, and always went to the pub, would get drunk. And she walked in, because they all wanted to meet these young bachelors. She walks in, and I said, unashamedly, I said, Peter, this is Claire. If she didn't behave so much like a slut, she would probably win this. I didn't know this, she marched off into the kitchen, got a bottle, smashed it, and had to be restrained.
Oh my God!
Because I'm going to kill that Liz Brewer. Well, I didn't see that until I saw the programme.
Wow.
What they did was, a year afterwards, this Where Are They Now? They brought her up, and I said, they said they were going to do one-to-one with her. I said, not in a million years, she wants to kill me. And they said, well, she's going to be there, you've signed a contract. So I turned up. She walked in with her parents and a young man. She looked elegant, her hair was fabulous and beautifully presented, and she came straight up to me with her hand, Liz Brewer, I have so much to thank you for. And I said, well, why? When did this occur to you? She said, well, I woke up one night after about 6 months, and I said, I am a slut. and she said, I've stopped drinking, I'm getting married, and I want you to come to
how lovely is that?
the honoured guest at our wedding. She then invited me a couple of years later to the christening. So it did work, and it was extraordinary when you're teaching those girls how suddenly they realised that there, but for the grace of God, goes them. And they could transfer themselves, and they could have a different way of life and respect what was going on around them. And on that, I'm not going to say anything more.
No, I think it's absolutely wonderful. Lady Henrietta, Liz Brewer, thank you so much for being guests. I do come back on the Andrew Eborn Show. We'd love to have you. But for now, big round of applause, please. Lady Henrietta and Liz Brewer.
Thank you.
Fantastic. We're going to take a break. When we do come back, we're going to be having the star of today's show, Wills and the Willing Star, Ian Wills, celebrating 20 years in the business. Do not touch that dial.